Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. I'm your host, Sam Adavi, coming to you from the Grand National's F-100 reunion from the Lokar Center in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, experiencing the world's largest classic Ford pickup truck show. Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. This is gonna be one awesome car.
And I said, it doesn't even run yet. And look at it now, it's amazing.
Welcome to the Lokar Car Show. I'm Sam Adavi, the Grand National F-100 here at the Lokar Center in the Great Smoky Mountains of Pigeon Forge. What a great venue to have a car show. There's a little bit of rain outside, but it's not keeping anybody from coming to this show. Look at all the vendors. Check out all these cool trucks. Let's not waste any more time and go check out this show. Johnny built this car with his wife. This thing was done in the year 2000. Looks like it was just finished. He's put 18,000 miles on it, going to shows and just enjoying it around town.
I always wanted a 32 Ford car, but I couldn't find one that I could afford. So I found this pickup from the original family in Austell, Georgia that bought the truck new. The old guy had passed away and I bought it from his family members.
Now, he did an awesome job restoring this truck. He even put a Cobra SVO Ford short block in it, 302 cubic inches, twin 600 CFM Holley with the original 65 Cobra intake manifold.
Yes, sir. It took me about 3 years to find that intake. I finally found it in California.
Now, you were telling me about the Greyhound emblem. You said that was the first year of the Greyhound emblem. Can you explain why?
The Greyhound is a symbol of the V8 Ford flathead engine. 1932 was the first year for a V8 engine in a Ford product, and the symbol of the Greyhound was the fastest thing going.
Now tell us about why you removed the wipers. This is a funny one.
Not aerodynamic, this truck is not. The windshield is straight up. When you get up to about 70 or 75 miles an hour, the windshield wiper just flops up and down on it. So I removed the wipers from it.
This truck was never designed to go 70 miles an hour, usually about 35, 40 miles an hour on a good day, right?
That's correct.
There are so many modded trucks out here. It's nice to see a fully restored original 39 like the one we have behind us. Bobby's got a really cool story to tell us about this truck.
Yeah, so Home Paramount Pest Control is one of the largest pest control companies on the East Coast. Been in business since 1939. Walter Tilley Sr. started the company. So this truck's a representation of the long history of our company. They did pest control in vehicles like this back in '39. We pride ourselves at trying to keep the truck totally original. We want to keep it nice, clean, and everything original as possible.
Like I said, if you were someone that came into the show and you may not be familiar with Ford F-100s and you see a lot of these customized trucks, you really don't get an idea of what they started out to look from. So when you look at this, you see everything in place, all the restorations there, period correct. Now, something on the inside, because I knew it was a heater box, but I didn't really know how it worked. Tell us about the heater box inside the truck.
Yeah, so the heater was actually fired and ran by the gasoline from the tank that the truck runs off of. So there's a line that goes from the carburetor into the heater box to produce the fire.
You're driving around with fire underneath your dashboard and it gives you the heat. Well, I did not know that. Lokar Car Show, presented by Appalachian Backroads. Appalachian Backroads. Virginia is for lovers. Original Parts Group Incorporated. Unbeatable quality, price, and in-stock selection for GM restoration and high-performance parts. NH Oil Undercoating Incorporated. NHOU, the official oil-based rust-proofing system. Lokar Performance Products. Quality, plain and simple. It's time for the Lokar Lowdown with Jeffrey Walls.
For you guys out there using modern driveline components, Lokar and Clayton Machine Works are keeping up the times with you guys, and we've got different options for you. Such as our drive-by-wire electronic throttle pedals. We have these set up to where you can plug and play into your current throttle body setup, programmed to work with your GM or Ford application, Mopar, Holley. We offer these within both the Clayton and the Lokar line to fit all the different looks and styles that you have of other pedal pads, brake and clutch arms, whatever it may be. In addition, we have the electronic sport mode shifter. This allows you, with all the standard functions of our neutral safety switch and lockout push button, you can kick it over into sport mode and just start shifting gears up and down as you feel. So check this out at lokar.com.
Mike and Deborah's 53 Ford truck. This is absolutely gorgeous with a very cool story behind it. Mike, tell us about your truck.
It happened about 5 years ago. My brother-in-law decided he couldn't finish the truck, so I bought the truck from him and we finished it. Unfortunately, he passed away before he ever got to see it completed. It's kind of part of the family and gonna stay part of the family.
And you and the wife, Deborah, actually worked on this truck together.
Yes.
And finished it yourself. You did an engine swap with it.
Right.
You've got all the modern creature comforts in there as far as
Right.
entertainment goes, the dashboard.
Right.
A lot of nice artistic touches to the truck as far as the headliner goes.
Right.
And everything on the interior.
Yes, sir.
I like the fact that you put your transmission lines, you made them out of hard lines instead
Yeah.
of the braided lines you see people making hoses these days.
Right.
You kept it original looking with that hard line
line.
going back. You
Right.
even took the time to put in a power steering cooler in the steering system. Nice
Right.
touch.
Right.
I saw that you put a Subaru blue color on there. What
Right.
made you go with that?
Well, it was the closest thing to the Ford blue, and I wanted to have some pearl to make it shine and a little metal flake in it, just to give it just a little more finesse for modern day stuff, to where, you know, the sun elements don't, you know, bake it as bad because it's base coat, clear coat.
Right.
And so,
Well, it really pops, and I love the interior contrast with the
Right.
exterior color. It looks really good.
right.
After talking to David, I learned a lot about the 351 Windsor and the Boss 427 that I did not know Ford had. 53 truck, Dave and his family built this truck over 7 years together in his garage. Very impressive.
I just grew up loving trucks and always wanted one and had a few of them, and found this one about a mile from my house walking the dogs. And finally, years later, I bought it. So the engine is a 427 Ford Performance engine.
And you powder coated those cylinder heads to make it look like you came out of the crate that way, so it looks like iron heads.
Yeah, so I wanted it to look like iron heads, and so we pulled all the valves out, powder coated, made everything black, so everything was uniform.
I
So
love the way you did the fuel system going around the distributor like that, the crossover tube, instead of going in and out in the front. That looks really nice. Looks like you took a lot of time to do that. Very nicely done. But I love the cherry bedwood in the back of this truck. It really stands out with the color. Very nice. Now, what kind of horsepower are you making with this?
around 600 horsepower.
600 horsepower at the wheels. That is serious horsepower. It's a manual truck, 6-speed Tremec behind it. This has got to be a blast to drive. Now, have you driven it and really given it some?
Oh yeah, it's got 826 miles on it now.
That's awesome.
So we put some miles on it.
What a beautiful copy of a 53 Ford truck. Beautiful 1954 truck that's done in a pro street fashion. There's a very cool story behind this truck that includes her brother. Shannon, thank you so much for letting us check out your truck.
So my brother is Terry Boswell, and he owned Boswell Welding. When he was 16 years old, he set out to make an amazing vehicle. He found this car in a cow pasture. He was able to get it and restore it from the ground up, and I'm so proud of him. My brother died from cancer at 38 years old, and I was able to get this truck back into our family. So proud of it, but ultimately proud of my brother. Welders are so talented, and their ability to fabricate materials and to be able to make these amazing vehicles, I am so proud.
Well, let me tell you, he did a great job. The fit and finish on every piece of this truck is incredible.
When I would watch him, I'd come over to his shop and watch him build it, and I would see that engine sitting in a rust vehicle and couldn't imagine what was going to happen. Or he was so proud of that little can of paint that he had
Absolutely.
paid so much for. And I said, It doesn't even run yet. And look at it now, it's amazing.
Now, he did cut the hood and somebody else installed it and painted it.
A lot of the interior work, the fabrication, just amazing talent. So proud of him.
Well, I'm very glad that you guys were able to get the truck back in memory of your brother. This is a beautiful 54 from Shannon. This truck really says it all. Francisco and the boys at Metal Brothers built this car for their customer, and they did an awesome job. A lot of little details that Francis is going to tell us about with this 56.
Well, we were just trying to make something different for the customer.
And what Francisco and the boys did was they completely hid all the hardware on this truck. Normally you would see the bolts that bolt in the fender on the inside of the bed, but they got rid of that by doing a cavity, right?
Yes, we double wall the bed sides, and then we put a piece of flat bar where we drill and tap, and now you bolt the fenders from the bottom.
And the bedwood, tell us about the bedwood.
The bedwood is oak and maple, and we were just trying to make one piece just to make it look different than anybody else.
Beautiful. They got rid of the aluminum strips. They put in wood in there, made it all one piece. Looks really good. They even raised the floor of the bed up to give them room to put all the mechanicals up underneath the bed, keeping the bottom of the truck really flush. Now tell us about the fenders, the front and rear fenders on this truck.
Well, the rear fenders, we made them wider to make clearance for bigger wheels. So we added 3.5 inches on the back and 2.5 on the front. And then we also moved the front wheels forward 4 inches, and we closed the cavity there just to make it look more even and better.
It looks a lot better. When you compare it to the rest of the trucks here, it really looks like, gives you that extra finished look. I'm here with a really cool dude and an even cooler truck. Sean and his 56 Ford. This thing is really one to take a look at.
And I've always wanted an old school truck, and I got an opportunity in 2017 to buy a truck, and just went from there.
Absolutely. Now, when you purchased the truck, what condition was it in? What was done to it?
Actually, the truck was kind of rusted out. I mean, it was drivable, but there was a lot wrong with it. And I took it to my builder's house, Todd Miller, in Spring Hill, Tennessee. And my wife specifically said, hey, I'm not riding in that truck unless I get seatbelts. So it went over there for seatbelts in 2017. It came out about 2 months ago, totally refurbished and refabbed completely.
And what did you guys do to it? I know you pulled the motor, went through it, added the
pulled the motor,
accessory kit.
Went through it. We added air conditioning, we added a 4-bar suspension, airbagged it, gas tank, transmission, rear end, suicide tilt hood.
Now, as far as the rear end goes, instead of him bringing the bed up because he slammed the truck, there's always going to be a little interference as far as the differential goes. He just went and put a differential cover over the hole in the bed to cover the differential.
Yeah, we didn't want to bring the bed up and everything. We thought about, hey, let's do something different. You know, we want to slam it, but let's just cut a hole in it and put a plate right there.
A truck that was originally going for a couple of seat belts and got a complete overhaul. This is one awesome truck. Not only did the color scheme catch my attention, but the fact that there was an intercooler hiding behind that grille got my curiosity up, so I wanted to see why. And underneath Clayton's hood is a 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine swap, 4-wheel drive. Tell me about the engine. There's a cool story behind that.
So the engine we got out of my dad's 1954 350 that he restored when he was my age. And he got it out of a bread truck and he wanted something new, so we put it in this.
So that's 3 times they recycled this. Dad did this 20 years ago, and they just started this project when Clayton was 14 years old. And how long did it take you guys to build this?
We've finished it Wednesday, and we've been working on it for 32 months.
Now, whose idea was the color combination?
Me and my dad kind of came up with it together, because I wanted something with red, but a little darker too.
Now, do you plan on ever taking this thing off-road?
Probably not too much, because I want to try and keep it shiny.
Until the first scratch occurs, then we go take it off-road?
Yeah.
Now tell us how you did with the shift knob and the transfer case shift knob.
I designed and 3D printed them myself.
He did a good job. They're red in color, got the fingers on them and everything. He's even got Cummins on the shifter for the stick shift. It looks very cool. What kind of lift do you have on this truck?
It's completely custom suspension, probably a 6 or 7 inch lift from factory.
Walking by Ross's '69 pickup truck, you can't help but stop to see how beautiful it sits on the ground. And then you look at the rest of the truck and you're like, man, this thing's gotta have some serious work done to it. I'm gonna have Ross tell us about the truck and the award he won last year at SEMA.
69 F-100, fully custom front to back once you kind of get underneath it and check it out.
What's cool is that from the outside, it's got all the original lines.
Yep.
Looks like the factory 69 truck, but underneath it is fully built, twin turbo, built Coyote motor in it. What kind of suspension on this? You have no air ride, you got hydraulics?
Hydraulic, they're Mittler Brothers Hydro Shock, so it's a hydraulic cylinder on top of a coilover.
Now this is a twin turbo.
Correct.
What kind of turbos are you running on this?
They're Garrett GTX 3582R. The one's a standard rotation and the opposite side's a reverse. So you get that mirrored
symmetry.
Yes. On the street it's about 12 pounds just on the gate, but we ran on the dyno, we ran 23 pounds and it made 1100 at the tires.
And is that on E85 or pump gas?
E85, yep.
That's crazy. Now the bed of the truck.
I wanted to kind of capture the size of the rear tire. It was kind of my idea to put them wheel tubs to go up with the bed floor so you kind of could really see the size of that rear tire. So.
Absolutely, looks awesome. And at SEMA last year, 2019, he won a very awesome award. Tell us about the award you won.
The Ford Design Award, I think they gave out, I don't know, 8 or 10 of them through some of the builders at the show, but it was just an incredible experience.
That's very impressive though, to win a show, you know,
first time
an award
there,
like
you know.
that. Absolutely.
Lokar Car Show, presented by Appalachian Backroads. Spearhead Trails, get out and explore. H&M Saw, the saw that cuts straight. Brothers Truck Parts, #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC truck parts. Stage 8, the world's best locking fasteners.
Well, I'm here with Joe Carpenter. We're here at the Grand National F-100 Nationals at the LeConte Center at the Great Smoky Mountains here in Pigeon Forge.
The concept of an F-100 show, the concept of looking at these old trucks, looking at their lines, making them cool, sitting them down, putting new motors in them, that really came from the West Coast.
Yep.
Came over here. Then there's a gentleman named Pat Ford. Pat actually works for Dennis Carpenter Ford Reproductions, which is our main sponsor. Pat started this show in 1979. I was 18 years old, and I had my Blue 53 there. It just blew my mind. There were 24 trucks at the first show. The F-100 show is about the 53 to 56 truck. It's just expanded. There's a class, this pre-48, we call those the early Fords. Then you have 7 other classes. But still the emphasis will always be on the founding truck, the 53 to 56, because just like I told you, it's the 32, 33, 34 Ford of the classic truck world. The top 3 trucks, the reason we give top 3 is there's 8 categories, and we want to give every category a chance. But we're always going to give an award to the best 53 to 56 truck.
I have to say I'm a little envious of Gene because he won this beautiful red truck behind us from the Good Guys giveaway in 2018.
Well, it's a 69 F-100, complete rebuild, a Scotch chassis, Tremec 6-speed, Wellwood brakes, JRI shocks. I mean, it's a total track setup truck ready to roll and race.
And we're talking track setup. He's actually gone out there and proven it, given rides to his buddies in the back roads, and this thing will handle exactly how it looks and perform exactly how it looks as well with that Gen 1 Coyote motor in there. Very impressive truck. Now, how did it feel going into the truck when you were the final contestant, one of 19, and it turned on for you? How'd that feel?
Well, it just, you know how to describe it when the thing actually starts, until you get it home and you see it in your garage and it's like, man, that's really in my garage.
Absolutely. Like a week later, you go out there and it's still there. You're like, man, this is real. And that is a cool truck to win. When you look underneath the tonneau cover, they finished off everything in the bed. They've got the compressor for the hydraulic suspension up under there along with the 2 batteries. Tell us about the inside with the flat red.
Well, they've done it with a flat red inside instead of the gloss. With the satin trim, it just makes everything pop. You got to see what's beside you and behind you. So I added the side view mirrors as an upgrade.
I'm here with Brian, and he's got a beautiful example of a 1971 Ford F-100 Pro Street truck. Now, Brian, what makes a truck a Pro Street truck?
Well, we have a narrowed rear end, which consists of just moving your frame rails around and putting the bigger tires on it. and it's racing shifter. It's kind of classified like a race car, but it's street legal, of course, where you can drive it.
And you got the skinnies up front and everything with a lot of horsepower under the hood?
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Now tell me what about the engine under the hood.
408 stroker motor, which is a 351 that's been stroked out, aluminum heads and aluminum intake and Holley carburetor. I finished it in 2004, and we put it in a big show at home in Roanoke, Virginia. Seen a video of a truck that somebody had built. Looking at the way that one was built, got to talking to my friend. He's like, let's just slam it on the ground and put big tires on it, and that's what we done. So
some of the Ford trucks here in the show have the graphed-in tailgate.
Yeah.
Is that a popular upgrade on these old trucks?
Yeah, just the look of the tailgate, I wanted to do away with it, so we welded that up.
This is an awesome Pro Street 71 Ford truck. Brian did a great job on the color scheme and the whole build of the truck.
That's all the time we have here at the Grand National F-100 show. Join us next week as we come back to the LeConte Center covering one of the largest gathering of Jeeps at the Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion.